A single warship, displacing nearly 100,000 tons, cuts through the Pacific Ocean like a moving city. On its flight deck, dozens of advanced fighter jets sit ready to launch at a moment's notice. Beneath that deck, 2 nuclear reactors generate enough power to run a small city. This is not science fiction. This is the reality of the modern American aircraft carrier. Right now, the United States operates 11 nuclear-powered supercarriers that patrol oceans across the globe, projecting power thousands of miles from American shores. And among them is the most advanced carrier ever built, the USS Gerald R. Ford. This ship represents a massive leap in naval technology. But here's the real kicker. While America celebrates this engineering powerhouse, potential rivals have spent decades building weapons designed for one specific job: destroying these carriers before they ever get close to the fight. So the big question isn't just how powerful these ships are. The real question is whether that power still rules the seas in a world where new threats are emerging faster than ever. The United States Navy currently operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. 10 of them belong to the legendary Nimitz class, ships that have been dominating the oceans since the mid-1970s. The 11th carrier is the first of a new generation, the Ford class. The USS Gerald R. Ford officially entered service in 2017, and it represents one of the biggest technological upgrades in naval history. This ship cost around $13.3 billion to build. That number alone sounds insane, but what you're paying for isn't just a giant ship. You're paying for groundbreaking technology that changes how carriers fight wars. The Ford class was designed to operate faster, launch more aircraft, require fewer sailors, and generate far more electrical power than any carrier before it. In simple terms, it's built for the future battlefield. One of the biggest upgrades on the Ford class is the electromagnetic aircraft launch system, commonly called EMEALS. Older carriers used steam catapults to launch aircraft, a technology that dates all the way back to World War II. Those systems worked, but they were rough on aircraft and required massive maintenance. EMEALS changes the game completely. Instead of steam pressure, it uses powerful electromagnetic energy to launch aircraft from 0 to around 165 miles per hour in less than 2 seconds. That means smoother launches and far less stress on the aircraft frame. But here's the real deal. EMEALS allows the carrier to launch about 30% more aircraft sorties per day than older carriers. In a real combat scenario, that means more missions, more firepower, and more dominance in the sky. Another major advantage of the Ford class is power generation. These carriers produce about 2.5 times more electrical power than the older Nimitz-class ships. That's a huge jump. And believe it or not, a big chunk of that power isn't even being used yet. It's being saved for future technologies that are still under development. We're talking about directed energy weapons, advanced radar systems, and possibly even railguns. The Navy designed the Ford class with future warfare in mind, making sure the ship has enough energy to run weapons that haven't even fully entered service yet. In other words, this ship isn't just built for today's fights. It's built for the battles of the next 50 years. The Ford class also relies heavily on automation. Advanced computer systems now handle tasks that used to require hundreds of sailors. Because of this, the Ford operates with roughly 700 fewer crew members than the Nimitz-class carriers. That may not sound like a big deal, but in naval operations, it's huge. Fewer crew members mean lower long-term costs, less living space needed, and more room for equipment, fuel, and ammunition. It also means the Navy can run the ship more efficiently. Basically, it's a smarter, leaner war machine. But the carrier itself is only part of the story. A U.S. aircraft carrier almost never sails alone. Instead, it operates as the centerpiece of something called a carrier strike group. This group includes guided missile destroyers, cruisers, nuclear attack submarines, and supply ships. Together, they form one of the most powerful naval formations ever created. The carrier sits in the center of this group, surrounded by multiple layers of protection. Destroyers equipped with advanced radar systems patrol the outer perimeter. Submarines hunt enemy vessels underwater. Surveillance aircraft watch the skies for threats hundreds of miles away. It's like a floating fortress wrapped in layers of defense. On the flight deck of a carrier like the Ford, the real power becomes clear. The ship carries dozens of aircraft, including F/A-18 Super Hornets, which are twin-engine multi-role fighters capable of striking targets more than 1,000 miles away. These jets can deliver precision-guided bombs, air-to-air missiles, and electronic warfare systems. Alongside them are the newer F-35C stealth fighters. These aircraft are designed to penetrate heavily defended airspace without being detected by enemy radar. That means they can strike critical targets, even in areas protected by advanced air defense systems. When you combine stealth fighters, electronic warfare, aircraft, and airborne radar planes, you essentially get a full air force operating from the middle of the ocean. Electronic warfare plays a huge role in modern carrier operations. Aircraft, like the EA-18G Growler, specialize in jamming enemy radar and disrupting communications. If an enemy tries to track or target the carrier group, these aircraft can blind their sensors. Meanwhile, E-2D Hawkeye aircraft fly high above the fleet, acting as airborne radar stations. They can detect incoming aircraft, missiles, or ships hundreds of miles away. Helicopters patrol the waters around the fleet, searching for enemy submarines. Every piece of this system works together to create a massive defensive and offensive network. Over the years, American carriers have demonstrated their ability to operate almost anywhere on Earth. In late 2025, the USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group entered the Caribbean Sea with thousands of sailors and dozens of aircraft. It wasn't just a routine deployment, it was a clear message. When the United States moves a carrier into a region, it instantly brings enormous military power with it. Few nations can match that capability. In fact, most countries don't even come close. Other powers have attempted to build their own carrier fleets, but the gap remains huge. China currently operates 3 aircraft carriers, but most of them use conventional power systems and have more limited operational range. Russia technically has 1 carrier, but it has spent years in repair and rarely deploys. France operates a nuclear carrier called the Charles de Gaulle, but it is much smaller than American supercarriers. The United States still dominates carrier aviation by a wide margin. American carriers maintain a near-constant presence in key regions around the world. 1 carrier is usually stationed near Japan, helping maintain stability in the Pacific. Others rotate through the Middle East, the Mediterranean, and other strategic waters. This constant presence allows the United States to respond quickly to crises. If a conflict suddenly breaks out, the Carrier Strike Group is already nearby and ready to act. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. While American carriers have become more powerful over the years, potential adversaries have been developing new weapons specifically designed to destroy them. For decades, military strategists in countries like China have focused on one mission: stopping American carriers from getting close enough to launch their aircraft. This strategy gained momentum after an incident in the 1990s. During a tense standoff near Taiwan, the United States deployed 2 carrier battle groups to the region. The move demonstrated overwhelming American power. At the time, China had no reliable way to track or threaten those carriers. The experience was a wake-up call for Chinese military planners. From that point forward, they began investing heavily in weapons designed to challenge carrier dominance. One of the most famous of these weapons is the DF-1D ballistic missile. It is often referred to as a carrier killer. Unlike traditional cruise missiles that fly close to the surface, this missile launches high into the atmosphere before descending toward its target at extremely high speeds. With a range of roughly 1,000 miles, it could potentially threaten carriers far from the Chinese coastline. Even more concerning is the DF-26 missile, which reportedly has a range of over 2,000 miles. These missiles travel at hypersonic speeds and can theoretically maneuver during the final stage of their flight. That makes them extremely difficult to intercept. In addition to these ballistic missiles, China has also unveiled advanced anti-ship cruise missiles capable of traveling at speeds exceeding Mach 10. For carrier commanders, the math becomes intense. Hypersonic missiles move so fast that defenders might have only a few minutes to detect and intercept them. In a large-scale conflict, dozens of missiles could be launched simultaneously in an attempt to overwhelm defensive systems. It's the kind of threat that keeps naval planners constantly working on new defensive strategies. Fortunately for the U.S. Navy, carriers are not defenseless targets. They are protected by some of the most advanced missile defense systems ever built. The Aegis Combat System, used on many U.S. destroyers and cruisers, integrates powerful radar with interceptor missiles capable of engaging incoming threats. One of these interceptors, the SM-6 missile, can target both aircraft and ballistic missiles at long range. The Navy is also experimenting with futuristic defenses. High-energy laser weapons are currently under development and testing. These systems fire concentrated beams of energy that travel at the speed of light. That means they could potentially destroy incoming missiles almost instantly. Unlike traditional interceptors that cost millions of dollars each, a laser shot might cost only a few dollars in electricity. The Ford-class carrier was specifically designed with these future weapons in mind. The extra electrical power generated by its reactors could one day be used to run powerful laser defense systems. If those technologies mature, they could dramatically change how naval battles are fought. Even beyond physical defenses, carriers rely on intelligence and surveillance to stay safe. Satellites track potential threats from space. Submarines patrol ahead of the Carrier Strike Group, hunting enemy vessels before they can get close. Cyber warfare teams work to disrupt enemy communication networks and targeting systems. The goal is to stop an attack before the missiles are even launched. Despite the threats, real-world operations continue to demonstrate the value of carriers. In recent conflicts and military operations, carriers have provided sustained air support without relying on foreign bases. Aircraft launched from these ships have conducted thousands of missions, ranging from precision strikes to reconnaissance and humanitarian support. Exercises with allied nations also highlight the power of carrier cooperation. Joint operations involving American, British, and other allied carriers create enormous combined air forces at sea. When multiple carriers operate together, they can launch massive numbers of aircraft in coordinated missions. That kind of capability sends a powerful message to any potential adversary. Looking toward the future, the U.S. Navy plans to build additional Ford-class carriers. Several are already under construction or planned for the coming decades. These ships will likely remain in service well into the next century, shaping naval warfare for generations. At the same time, the Navy is exploring new concepts such as smaller light carriers and unmanned aircraft. These platforms could work alongside the giant supercarriers, spreading combat power across multiple ships and making the fleet harder to target. For decades, critics have predicted the end of the aircraft carrier. Some say they are too expensive. Others claim new missiles make them obsolete. But time after time, carriers continue to prove their value. They provide something no other military platform can offer: mobile air power that can appear anywhere in the world without relying on foreign bases. So are American aircraft carriers still the kings of the sea? The answer is complicated. They are more advanced, more powerful, and more capable than ever before. At the same time, the threats they face are evolving rapidly. Modern warfare is a constant game of offense versus defense, with each side trying to outpace the other. What's clear is that aircraft carriers remain a central part of American military strategy. They represent not just technological power, but also global reach. When a carrier strike group sails into a region, it sends a message that the United States is ready to act if necessary. For the foreseeable future, these floating air bases will continue to patrol the world's oceans. They will launch aircraft, support allies, deter conflicts, and respond to crises wherever they arise. And even in an age of hypersonic missiles and cyber warfare, the aircraft carrier still stands as one of the most powerful symbols of military strength ever built.